Yeah, I think I want that one closer. Okay. Y'all still don't understand the setup I have over here. So I'm going to do 3 bobbins because I'm going to be doing kind of a batch session of these. I have a total at this point of 20 bend and snaps cut out. And they are cut out and taped and trimmed, and everything is set to sew. Yeah, good goodness, really wound on that one. You don't want to wind your bobbins too much. Like this one's a wee bit on the close side. It's almost too full, but I think it'll be okay. It should be okay. You know what? Actually, I do. I want one more. It's usually better to have an extra one. If you're on the fence on, do I need an extra one? Go ahead and do an extra one. Having an extra bobbin is not going to hurt you. Um, and then if you have to, you can always do a bobbin dump, which means that you're using a different color bobbin thread because that bobbin thread's not going to be seen. Like the classic zip around, the first few steps, you can easily get away with not using the same bobbin thread underneath. Also, if you have the bobbins that like to unwind, if you take it and you pull at it, it'll stay. And then you don't have bobbins unwinding. And definitely a tool to have is one of these. If you use metal bobbins, these magnetic dishes are very inexpensive just about everywhere. And I put mine on top of my machine. Okay, so that's done. Bobbin threader, you're just going to have to go on the ground today because if I try to put up anything, it's going to go not so happy. Yes, I hear you, laptop. Why are you so upset? Boop. Oh, so just rethreading my machine. Good Lord, my laptop sounds like it's going to take off. Go. Oh, okay. Come on. I have a full cup of iced coffee and a full cup of water. I'm doing really good with drinking a whole thing of water after having a whole thing of coffee. Okay, so now my machine is all threaded. I can go ahead and turn it on. I can itch my nose. Okay, so the bend and snap. I have one. I still have the one I made last time. Let me see. There it is. So this is the bend and snap. It's a cute little bag. It's 2 little snaps. Boop. It has 2 zippers, an ID pocket, and then card slots on this side. And then it also has a cute little pocket on the outside as well. And then I make a strap with mine, and I make my handles a little bit differently. So this is a little bit of a modified pattern. Let me get my music on. Yes, I will always say yes to Tony Braxton. Then I shall never breathe again. Alrighty. So let's get started. So I have my container of miscellaneous hardware. I'm using plastic snaps. Oh, here we go. So those are my straps cut out. I am doing I'm going to need this. I'm doing a Moon Knight and a Nazuko from Demon Slayer and a Chippendale. The Chippendale one is probably one of the most random that I've gotten. So I'm just like feeling that randomness and going with it and using rose gold hardware. I think it's going to look really pretty with it. There we go. It's just going to be interesting is all. Okay. So now I need... Okay. Like I spent all day yesterday making sure all of my pieces were here, and so I know they're in here somewhere. Let me know if the music's too loud. Oh, well, thank you, Deb. Good morning. I just started recently live streaming. Now I'm trying to figure out this whole social media stuff and making videos, and I've gotten a lot of requests for certain things. So I'm like, okay, well let's figure out how to do this. I'm smart. I can figure this out. I do not feel smart. Nothing will make you feel more dumb than technology. Here we go. Okay, so there are those. Oh, so I have these little pieces that I add on the ends of my straps. And actually with this pattern, it's the scraps from the inside of the ID window. That way I am using all of said scraps. I'm just trying to find... there you are. There it is. Madre de Dios. Hello, come here. Okay. All right, let's see. That feels like that's too loud. Hang on. There we go. See, I would put my headphones in so only I hear the music, but I would end up singing with it. And it's not that I don't want to subject y'all to it. I mean, I don't have the voice of an angel, but I can carry a tune. But I just... I do a lot of mutter singing when I have my headphones in, unless I'm by myself. And then, when you're by yourself and you're just belting it out, even though you don't care if you're hitting that note right or not, you're with that music. That's pretty much how I am. So it's, so this is actually glow in the dark webbing. This is going with the think words, phrases with Moon Knight. And Moon Knight has gray with nickel. This is one of the challenges of batch sewing, is that you have to really keep everything together. If I do more than more than 3 at a time when I'm batch sewing, I will write everything down, because I know that usually I have a specific idea in mind and I don't want to mess that up, because then I will be sad. So I'm going to take my strap, take one of these smaller pieces. These are 1 by about 2 inches. Like I said, it's mostly I was using the scraps from inside the ID wallet cutout window. And it was actually the perfect amount. It was the perfect amount of stuff, because it gives me both my strap ends and it gives me the handle end. Okay, so I have my strap end. I'm just going to throw my hardware everywhere. I'm not sewing anything on it yet. I will do that to adhere it to the other side. So right here. If you don't want to use a strap end, you can just fold over the webbing. Hello. Good morning, everyone. We are doing the Bend and Snap by Lynn's Handmade. I have 20 of them total cut out. I don't know what is wrong with me. This is what happens when I start con prep. I make what I call my dream list, things that I would really, really hope to get done. Why am I missing a lighter? Hold, please. Oh, that's right. So this didn't get melted for some reason. I'm also trying out a new webbing. It's a little stiff. I'm not sure if I care for it, but it'll do for this bag. But my dream con list is always much more than I think I'll ever get done. But it'll constantly keep me busy, so go. Alrighty. So the black webbing is for the Chip and Dale. It's actually from the new Chip and Dale movie that came out, which was I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. It had this nice nostalgic feel of the whole Roger Rabbit movie scene. And I thought it was funny. I was entertained, and you know what? That's all you can ever ask for. And then Nazuko, I'm doing this kind of lilac-y color. She's got a lot of like mauve colors in the design, so I wanted to give it something a little bit light. Alrighty. Okay, so I've got those all done. Now, the thing with batch sewing you want to try really hard to remember is that everything's going to take you that many times longer to do. So straps may take me 5 minutes, but it's going to be 5 minutes times 3 at this point. The strap ends that I'm using are just the scrap pieces of vinyl. And then I clip the corners and I singe the edges so it seals it. You can edge coat these. I do not do that because I'm already doing more than I feel like I should sometimes. Yes, but the ID window that you do for the Bend and Snap, it has that cutout. So you've got the hole. These are the scraps from it. And from that, I can get my swivel clip end, the cover end for where the slide hook is, and oh, sticky. Yeah, it's double-sided tape. I mark my center so I know about where to put everything, and then I put a couple pieces of double-sided tape. In fact, that's what I did for about 3 or 4 hours yesterday, was making sure that everything was set up, so all I have to do is sew. Okay, I'm going to sew little squares now onto these. Oh, I need to do that too, don't I? One thing I didn't double check about. Come on. And I'm just doing a little box, making sure to. Am I not on it? Nice. Trying to make sure that I catch mostly the vinyl piece. I'll try to chain stitch as much as I can when I can. However, sometimes it's just not prudent. All right, so see. Okay. And then I'm going to put that one around my neck. I end up wearing a lot of straps. You should have seen me cutting all 10 straps for the webbing with the carpet ones for Dragon Con. The Dance of 1,000 Veils or whatever that one is. If you know, you know. If you don't, I would not look it up. Let's see. And you always want to be wary too of what your thread you're using. Like, I have confidence in my abilities enough most days to not be what's the word? Intimidated by using a contrast thread. But if you're still working on, you know, your top stitching skills, good Lord, then you're going to want to use threads that kind of blend in a little bit more. But, you know, I'm using, with this, I've got white on black. That's obviously going to show up if I make a mistake. I'm just burning down my threads so that they stay. That goes around the neck. Oh, well, okay. I guess you're just going to be in that kind of mood today, Tiberius. Just went completely off schedule there. There we go. Fortunately, and see, this is what I mean. Had the machine overshot like it did on the black, you would see it, but you don't really see it right away. Oh, you know what? That might be my screen. Oh, okay, that's my screen. I do worry about thread color, but mainly matching it to the project. Like, I'm using a white thread color for these three because I know with Moon Knight, it's going to match his cloak nicely. And with Chippendale, it's going to look really, really good on this brownish, like, chipmunk fur color. And it's going to match Nazuko, the little demon girl from Demon Slayer, really nicely. I did used to, but I also have this weird bravado of just kind of going in, even if I think I'm not going to do well on it. Okay, that was all right. So, mainly my thread choice is usually dependent on the vinyl. Is it going to look good on that vinyl? Is it going to stand out in a good way? There's something about black thread top stitching that just never looks right to me. It always looks like you gave a kid a pen and told them to draw the line, you know? or me. You told me to draw the line without a ruler. I can't draw a straight line. Not without a ruler and some assistance. All right, let's see who's first. Nezuko. All right. Yep. Oh, I'm going to take this. I'm going to keep my strap end on the inside. Make sure my strap is completely straight. Slip a swivel hook on there. And then go up one side of the bar and down the other. And now I'm going to take one of my swivel hook pieces, put the swivel hook on it. And then, like I said, I have the middle marked, but I want to go a little bit below that anyways, because I want the swivel hook to sit right bumping up against the webbing. I don't actually want it overlapping. I mean, I've been sewing for about 30 years, and only the last 6 or so, 7, 8, I can't do math. Time is so weird. 7 years have been with bags. Nope, that's too far down. Okay, I'll actually show you real quick. So you can see that the hook is overlapping where the webbing is, and that's going to create a weird bump. So, now it's sticking. And now I want to go a little bit lower. Get the dang swivel hook off the tape. There we go. Okay, so see, now it's one cohesive line instead of having that weird little bump. Ta-da! All right, I'm going to set that one aside and get the others prepped. As I said, the biggest problem with batch sewing is, is everything takes a little longer because you're doing it, in this case, 3 times. One time I did 10 NCW wallets necessary clutch wallets at once. I will never do 10 of them at a time again. I'll cut them out. I'm just never going to do all of them at once like that, because that was a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. Oh, black crows. Okay. It's like, what in the world did they put on? Alrighty. Just, because I want to make sure that it's bumping up against it, but not over it. And see, I love that combination, the rose gold with the brown and the black. That one's ready to go. And now our last one. Here we are. The nice thing is, most of the time, if the webbing does get twisted, it's easy to kind of turn your swivel hook around. And I say that mostly because this is a softer webbing, this glow in the dark that I have. So it can twist a little weird sometimes. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm a little sleepy today, which is weird because I slept in a little bit too. I mean, like 20 minutes slept in. Hopefully by next Wednesday. I should have all these done this week. All right, now I'm going to sew a little box on here, and that'll be the straps. And that's one less thing to have to worry about at the end. Okay, come on, don't stop it, Tiberius. All right. Got that little box around it. And then I'm going to seal my threads by melting them a little bit and then pushing down with the metal part of my lighter. And that's going to kind of create a nice little stopper at the end. Okay. One strap. Just wrap those up. Set them aside. Next. So when I trim my threads, I leave just a little bit there still so that when I melt it, it has a nice little glob. You can pull your threads to the back and then do that if you don't want the glob to show. I just usually hide it into the stitch itself or into the little hole. Two straps. Yeah, this way the straps are done, and it's just one less thing at the end that you have to worry about. I've noticed that a lot of pattern designers have started having you start with your strap now, because it usually is just the first thing that most sewists or most bag makers want to just get done and out of the way. I mean, literally, we now do them, a lot of us now do them with webbing so that we can have one less thing to worry about as it is. I mean, I used to fold over my webbing, and my machine can go through it. But honestly, if you've got really thick webbing, it's still going to give you a little bit of trouble. So this way you're not having to fight through as much. You're only going through 3 layers. And depending on your vinyl, it might not even be that bad. Good morning, Creative. How are you? Doing some bend and snaps. Getting my strap all tangled. Here we go. 3 straps are done. Huzzah! Okay. Bobbins wound. All right. So what is my first step? I need to think about this because I have forgotten what the first step is supposed to be. Come on. So we will take a look at the pattern. Maybe. Oh, that's actually what I do need to do first. So the bend and snap is usually cut as one piece. But if you cut it at one piece, then your directional fabric, one side will be upside down. Now that does work out if you don't want to do this step. It can work out because you can just put your overlay over the side that's upside down. So I cut my piece in half, the pattern piece in half, and then I added a half an inch for my seam allowance. You can do the seam allowance that you want to do. And this way it will be right side up no matter what. So let's do that. Get these stitched on. I don't know why I did that. Try that again. Alrighty. This is why I mark my seam allowance, by the way. It means that I can just sit here and kind of zoom along that line. Except when Tiberius is being sassy pants at me. Okay, I try to clean up my clips because I hate stepping on them. Well, this walking foot came with my machine. This is an industrial machine, a NewTek GS0303. So it's an industrial walking foot. It's a lot like the 1181 from Juki, except mine is computerized. So I'm folding open my seam. It's called a butterfly seam because you're opening the wings. And I'm just going to top stitch on each side. Now this will be a little bit slow, a little more, I'd like to say a little slower, but maybe not. Because this is going to be seen, so you want to make sure that it looks nice. I feel like a T-Rex because I'm like this. My arms get considerably shorter when I have to get in real close. Oh, sure. So here is the Moon Knight. I will make sure when I post this as a reel on Instagram that I tag the artists for both of these, because this one's from Pawtastic and I absolutely love it. The scale printed a little larger than I wanted, but that's on me. I like a slightly smaller scale so I can get more in and I don't have to fussy cut as much. And this is definitely a much thinner vinyl on this one. I probably should have interfaced this one with some fleece, but I think it'll be fine. That is the other thing. Because I'm using all vinyls on this, I'm not interfacing it with even the fleece. And that is mainly because I just don't need that extra loftiness, because most of these already have a loftiness to them. Will you let go? So this Moon Knight art is from Eddie Crane. I love their stuff. They're so adorable. They've got some really cute Five Nights at Freddy's merch happening too. All right, so that is taken care of. Oop. So now I'm just going to kind of look and see where I would want. Those will be next. Mother of all that is good and evil. Here we go. I've got everything kind of, I don't want to say haphazardly placed, but it's kind of haphazardly placed. There's one. Mainly, I just want to put these on because then it'll start to take away some pieces in here. Those will be next. That, and that. Need what, one more gray? Yep, there it is. And that. Okay, so those will need to be done. Brown. Okay, so I'm choosing. So nicely, both sides look about the same. So I'm going to go ahead and just center this, maybe. That tape just wants to. So this is the overlay that I'm using. Morning, Cynthia. I did have a walking foot on my domestic. I think I got it off of Amazon. It was just a walking foot attachment. I moved up to an industrial when I was going through domestics because I was making NCWs on them mainly. Okay, so see, mine, this one is 2.5 by, let me see, 8. It's 2.5 by 8 inches. And then I go in 1/2 inch on each. This pattern does come with a overlay. Hers is very pretty. I just like the easy cut of this one. Okay, so that's set up. Okay, I'm going to put it on this side because I've got a good Moon Knight right there. He's not quite in the morning. In the middle. Good morning, Sky. I am making the Bend and Snap from Lynn's Handmade Designs. This is a really cute pattern. I love how like carry-all it is for such a compact bag. Where are you at? This is the one that I made Saturday. And when you open it up, it has card slots on one side and an ID pocket on the other. And it looks puffy because it's meant to be, so that when you put stuff into these two zipper pockets, it has the whole capacity of the outside. And then I do my handle a little bit differently than Lynn's does, but either way works really nicely too. It's just a cute little carry-all. I love it. I made my mom one so that she could have it when she goes out to the park and when she's running into work. No, I don't like it that low. Sorry, YouTube. I just knocked over the camera. We're going to go just a smidge higher. The overlay that comes with it is smaller. It's a good half the size of mine, probably. So I do have to take into consideration how large it is. Come on. There we go. That looks good. Okay. And this is the first time I'm making these with this overlay. But I like the stability of a large overlay, especially when I'm pulling out. Cynthia, what do you mean, which is that? I might have missed something. Because you know me, what does that mean? Oh, an overlay. Okay, so it is a wonderful way to do a zipper. So you put the overlay on, you sew around this area, and then you cut out a chunk of it, and then you have this hole here that you can put the zipper on. I'm hoping to get to that in this live. We'll see how that goes, because a lot of the outside or a lot of the inside has to be done first. Here we go. And yes, I want it on this side. Yep, because I've got good placement for her on that side. Yeah, but the overlay is the name of the bag is the Bend and Snap, like on Legally Blonde. If you've seen the movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie. It's a cute movie. It makes me laugh. You should know inside of me. That does not feel. Ow, Mate. One and. Yep. Guess I'm still going to use that part of the tape, huh? There we go. Nope, that is still in the same bloody place. There we go. Let go, tape. Sometimes that's the problem with really good sticky tape, is that it will not let go when you need it to let go. This one in the corner. And that's what. Fantastic. Okay, well, I know that now. Okay, so then I've got the zipper overlay for that one, and that just gets those pieces out of the place. Oh, this is a New Tech GS0303. I got mine from Gold Star, but I do not recommend working with Gold Star. They were, it was a challenge. And yeah, I don't foresee buying anything else from them, but some others have had problems and some have not. You are not straight, I can tell. Sometimes with these ID windows, you come across the problem that the vinyl will stretch a little bit, so you have to be careful when you're putting the vinyl on. That's better. Okay. Oh, that was going to bother me. We'll make you the bottom then. Okay. So while I have these pieces out, I'm just going to go ahead and top stitch the top of my the ID window. It already has its clear vinyl there. When you do chain stitching like this, you definitely want to make sure that you're back stitching. It's just a lot. It's going to keep everything from unraveling when you clip everything apart. Oh. Freedom, freedom. Let you down. I will be around. There we go. Okay, so I've got my tops done. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the inside. And this way, when I go to this step, I don't have to kind of stop. I see you. I see what you're trying to do, and I need you to stop. Okay. Go away. Oh, I like this song. I do whenever I'm like stitching these types of things with the clear vinyl, I do try to make sure that I stop and start in the same hole. It does give it a nice cohesive look. That's not always possible. Like sometimes doing that will make it look a little odd. So I try to make sure that I have a good stitch length in mind when I go through as well. But there's that part. So that one's going to go over there. And I'm just going to finish the other two. Like it's both annoying and so satisfying to batch sew things because it's like, okay, God, why am I not done? Oh, it's taking forever to do these 3 bend and snaps. I know that's what I'm going to feel like halfway through. But then when you're done, you have 3 of something done. And it's just, it's this weird, like, yeah, like I said, it's like a double-edged sword sometimes. Come on. There we go. Okay, like I said, sometimes ending and starting in the same hole is a little troublesome. You see, I've got this itty bitty little tiny stitch. Nobody's going to notice that. I promise you. But it bothers me because I know it's there. But so that one's done and one more to go. Where are you at? There you are. My eyes are dry this morning. Which is odd because it is wet outside. I don't know how the weather is where everybody is, but it is so wet. Like I think it rained last night and it's overcast. Like yesterday, it just looked like, okay, I guess this is when the world ends. I've told friends and family, if you ever call me and I'm eating just a giant sheet cake, it's because the world is ending and screw my diabetes. I'm eating cake. Actually, I've changed that from cake to this place called Parlor Donuts. Their donuts are so good. I'm like, I'm just going to go get a dozen of those. I wonder if they'll run a world is ending special, you know? World's ending, so just come get some donuts. Throw whatever money you want down. Where are you going? Hi, Bears. Why are you being so sassy this morning? Whenever you're using a lighter and you have clear vinyl involved, try to like push the clear vinyl away. I think it should all be free. Come get them while they're here, type thing. World's ending. Have a donut. Even if the world is ending, maybe we should still be a little kind to each other. Oh, you were grabbing for that donut, so was I. You know what? Let's split it. Yeah. Just because the world's ending doesn't mean I have to be a jerk. Plus, that leaves more stomach room for other donuts, too. All right, so I have that, and now I want a donut. I'm so level 7 some days. Do I have them on here? Okay, so I didn't on these, but on my carpet ones I prepped. So I have double-sided tape all around, and that was to hold the clear vinyl on. So what I'll do is when I go to add these on is I'll put tiny pieces of double-sided tape here and here, so in the corner, so that this is the only spots that I'm really putting over, I'm sewing over more tape. All right, so, fun time. Yep. We are going to do card slots. All right, recess card slots. Exactly. Again, just because it's the end of the world doesn't mean you got to be mean. All right, so there's one thing. There's another. There's another, and there's another. Card slots. I need to get, here we go. I need to get more card slot material. I ended up with some of this reusable bag material from Joann's. Well, it actually is really nice and thin and strong. It's almost the same as landscape material. So I cut up some of those. If you have a problem with dots, please let me know. These do have polka dots on them, and then these do not. I might not need that one, though. Ooh, hiccups. And all these little dots. So what I did also last night is when I prepped it, I marked my zipper placement. You do not cut these out. Okay. I was like, why in the world wouldn't you just cut them out? You're right there. Just cut out the zippers. It makes this, oh my God, it makes this such a pain in the butt to do with the zippers cut out. So just follow the instructions. I promise you, it's a lot easier. I think it would hold an inhaler, just one of the regular ones. Because it's not that small, and you could put it, actually, you could probably fit it in the outside pocket, depending on how big your inhaler is. So I have pieces of tape marked. Now, when you're cutting out your inside, you want to make sure that you cut it pattern piece face up on the outside of your fabric. If you, or your vinyl, if you have a certain direction for it. I don't. I'm fine. Because my because of how I do the outside, it's fine. So I traced mine on the inside. And I cut out my little holes for my card slots. Boop, 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 boop. And then I put tape underneath the, oh God, where are those? Hang on before we do this because I will forget otherwise. There's 1, 2. Where's the Chippendale one? It's like every time I say Chippendales, it's not what I think of. I don't think of chipmunks. I mean, you used to. There you were. Boop. Okay. I just didn't want to forget about these. These are the card slot strap. So that'll hold your cards in. I'm just going to go around that. Okay. This is actually a great pattern to practice your edge coating because it's got some really great places to edge coat because you can edge coat this strap, this snap strap. There it is. And you can edge coat your ID window. And if it doesn't go well, it's an easy thing to either recut or to just run with. Yeah, that's the side. I shortened my stitch length so that I can go around my tiny curves here. The piece that Lynn's has in the pattern is honestly just a square piece, which is just fine. I just like a little bit of zhuzhing it. So I just use my little punch, and I don't know what it is, but sharp corners just bother me. And the little rounded edge just seems to add a touch of, I don't want to say class, but just a touch of extra. And then one more this side. I'm just top stitching around this. Are you responsible? Okay, so I've got those. Recessed card slots always seem to make some folks nervous for some reason. I'm just going through and trimming because it feels like it shifted slightly, and I want to make sure that it's got a nice smooth edge. That's good. And that's what I do is I run my fingers over it. If it doesn't feel level, then I look to see if it should be trimmed. Sometimes it's just best to leave well enough alone. Because if you trim a little and you're like, oh, let me just take a little bit off, and then next thing you know, you're having to recut it because you've just trimmed everything off. So that's the little snap tabs. They're so cute. So recessed zippers are pretty much just make sure you're following the directions, or you have some sort of gift card, or hang on, I don't know where mine went. husband probably stole them again. How you doing, Atlantis? Right. My card helpers have gone missing again. Or you can have one of the card helpers because we sell these on our website, Fat Rabbit Supplies. It's a little bit bigger than a regular credit card. See, it's a little longer. So, or I guess wider is the term. But that way you know that it definitely fits. So if this fits snug, then you're good to go. So we're going to start with this one. And this will be a nice teachable moment too, because I think I might have cut these a little short because I found my notes after I cut them out. I was like, well, I guess we'll figure it out. If that happens, if you cut it too short, just make sure you have scraps nearby that you can add on to it. So I have a feeling I will have to do that. So we shall see. So I have my card slots. This is the snap placement. I put my snap on after my card slots because it's easier on the card slots, even though it is a little bit more challenging to put it in. There we go. I don't know why it has me verify sometimes. Oh, well. So, face down, card slot. I'm going to lift the tape backing off of the bottom card slot. And I'm going to put that nice and straight. And adhere that piece of tape. I'm going to flip this over. Oh, that's something I need to do. Where's my washi tape? There it is. Okay. So one of the other challenges that folks have when it comes to recessed zippers is where to stop and start on the front when you're top stitching. It's a little bit of your choice on where you're going to stop and start. But there are a couple different ways that you can make sure you're stopping and starting in the same spot. You can use a marking pen. I find that I end up covered in silver ink when I do that. So what I'm going to do is I have, when you go to like Michael's and stuff like that, always check their clearance section. And if you see some nice, inexpensive washi tape, grab it. It is always nice to have washi tape around because it's not super, super sticky, doesn't leave any residue most of the time, and it's just nice to have it on hand. So I take a piece of washi tape and I put my washi tape right over the holes. Because that's where I want to stop. You can either put it against them on the outside or you can put it over it. Again, your choice. You don't want to go too far outside of the holes, but you also don't want, I mean, because you're sewing over this much. So if you want, oh yeah, that'll be perfect. I just take part of my card slot lining and I put it over that. And you can also line your tape up. That way you're catching all of it. I'm going to be catching enough that I'm not too concerned. And actually, I know with this, I want to go down to a 3 for my stitch length. And that is because that should go right there. That should go across without me having to position the needle. Hold my threads. I back stitch at the beginning and the end. You can pull your threads through if you want what is considered a quote unquote cleaner look. I like a stability and I don't think it looks that off. That is an opinion. Do as you will. All right. So, and sometimes what I do is I'll take my nail and I'll pull back right here so that I can see where my cut line is, especially because I use a nice super sharp blade. You almost can't even see that I cut the vinyl. So I'm going to pull that away just a little bit so I can see where I'm sewing. And of course, if you marked on the front, you're going to see your marking, so that should be fine. But you also want to make sure if you're marking on the front that you're using something that's going to erase eventually. And I'm going 1/8 away from the line. So I'm sewing underneath that bottom card slot pocket with my lining going towards the top. Okay. You know, Tiberius, you're real sensitive on this foot today. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, I do still pull my threads to the back. I just don't worry about tying them off because they are locked in with that back stitch, but I also don't cut them. It does present a little bit of a challenge later on because then I have these threads all over the place, but I have a hack for that as well. So then you take your lining, you're going to flip it over this way. One of the mistakes I do see people make when they do recessed is they really tug this lining. You don't got to tug, I promise. Where's my bone folder? Literally was here 2 seconds ago. Okay, so there's the bone folder. What I do is I take my nails, or you can take a tool like a screwdriver or that. I hold on to the top of the card pocket slot, and then I gently tug it down. Hold that, and then I use my bone folder to push this down. If you have the landscaping or this type of material, it folds really nicely. If you tug it, you are going to warp your vinyl and it's going to bubble weird. So if you have a weird bubbling when you do recess, that's because you're going a little overzealous with pulling that down. I have a piece of tape here. That is not necessarily where my fold's going to be. It's just mainly to get the fabric out of the way. There are measurements. They're fabulous measurements. I'm just going to use my card. I slide it in. Look on the other side to see where I want my cards to sit. This is neither easier nor harder than doing the measurements. It is just a preference. I tug nice and taut, take off my backing, and then flip over and press down. Did I get the right one? Yes, there it is. I was like, where'd it go? So then we flip over. We take our card helper out. If you used a card helper. And then we sew. Oh, yeah, that was perfect. Fantastic. Okay, yep. Come on, there you go. All right, then we flip back over. I'm going to pull my threads back. Okay, I'll pull those out of the way. So once again, I'm going to move my lining out of the way, grab the top of my pocket, and then fold down, pushing up just a smidge, because like I said, I'm trying not to really tug at that. That's also why I put my tape like towards the bottom. So this is the top of the pocket right here where we're going to end up sewing. So if you put the tape a little bit lower, you're not going to sew through it, and it's not going to get in the way of you pushing down. Oh yeah, I'm going to repeat it a lot, I promise. So we've pushed the lining down. I'm going to take my card helper, put it where I want the card to sit. So see, I'm going to hold that down. And then I'm going to pull that up. So while the lining is kind of wrapped around my hand, I'm going to take the sticker paper off, the backing of my double-sided tape, maybe. Come on. There we go. Sugar. Let's see. Here we go. And then I'm going to press it down. No problem, Cynthia. Like I said, recessed card slots, like any type of card slot, is intimidating until you get used to doing them. And then you're just like a folding maniac. You're like origami master. So now that I have, again, the lining coming out the top, I'm going to take it over. And I'm going to top stitch that down at the top of the next pocket. So here's the pocket top right here. I'm going to go 1/8 and I'm just going to go right across it. Again, I back stitch. You'll still see me pull my threads to the back. That's just to get them out of the way. There we go. Okay, so we're going to flip over, pull threads to the back. Pull that out of the way. Now fold this over. So I've got my lining. And see, right here is a little piece of the pocket top. That's what you want to hold down and then kind of pull at your lining. If you pull too hard, you are going to bubble it, and it's not going to lay as nicely as you want it. We're going to put our card into the slot, our card helper, or measure. There we go. I'm going to use my card helper to give me a line to press down. And then I'm going to take the backing off the tape of the next card slot. I'm going to press that down. And we are going to flip over. Take our card helper out, and then we are going to top stitch that spot. All right, so now that we've got that slot, if you're wanting to check, it's never a bad idea to make sure that you've been doing this correctly. Flip that over. Just playing all my favorite songs. Come on, you. I'm going to pull my threads to the back. If you are not back stitching, you will pull your threads to the back, tie them off I would then definitely keep them long anyways. As I said, I've got a really cute hack for that. All right. We take our lining in our left hand, or right hand if you're right-handed, or left-handed. I'm going to grab the top of that pocket and then tug down lightly. Use my bone folder, seam, your nail, just to kind of press it down. I'm going to remove the tape backing, put my card helper in. If you're using the measurements, then you just use your measurements. There we go. And then I'm going to push that up without pushing the card and press it down onto the tape. Okay, so I still have my strip up going towards the top. Take a moment, make sure everybody's, I didn't miss any questions. Okay. And I'm also live streaming this on my YouTube. So you'll be able to go back and watch it there as well as on Instagram if you need to. Okay, we're just top stitching 1/8 of a way. Back and forth on my tape. Now, I can already tell I'm going to have to add some onto here because let's see. Yep, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I add another card slot on. So here's what you do if you have cut your card slot too short. If you gambled and now you know this gamble is not going to pay off. Take another strip and you're going to put them right sides together and you're just going to sew them together. Boop. Making sure that they're nice and straight. I tried doing this like the whole bias thing, but it just folded weird. I don't know. It seemed like extra work for the inside of a card slot pocket. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. No, I just wanted something like peep and Eastery themed for some reason. I mean, I saw a design like, I'm hoping, I sent a picture to my tech. I'm wanting to do Doctor Who themed ones with like a beautiful matte deep TARDIS blue and then a dialect on the dialect story on it, on one of the nails. I think it'll be really cute. When you do this, you want to make sure that everything is nice and straight. And then I'm going to, I wish I was clever enough sometimes to plan some of these things. I'm going to butterfly this seam open, mainly so that it will sit nice and flat. This does not have to look immaculate. It is literally on the inside of the wallet. This is just so that when you're like, well, I gambled and now I lost, you can go, but I have a plan. Okay. So now I magically have a longer strip of card slot material. Ta-da! You got to learn how to teach me. See, The rest will follow. Okay, so now that we have that taken care of, and you can usually tell if you're going to need to add. Thank you very much. They're actually getting changed today. Every other Wednesday, I get them done. It's a little treat to myself. Plus, then I have pretty nails. Let's see. Yeah, you can usually tell if you're going to need more because right here's where I sewed, and about this much is what I'm going to need. It's probably, I'm going to say 4 inches. Ooh, so close. It's about 5 inches more. So I cut it 5 inches short. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to beat me. There are other mistakes I can make that will make me cry. This is definitely not one of them. Getting your gusset sewn all the way and then looking down and going, oh, zipper pulls would be absolutely useful here. That is definitely an uh-oh. Okay, so, sorry, YouTube. Again, I'm going to, right here, this is where I'm putting my nails down and holding it as I tug this down. Again, tug, don't yank. Be gentle with it. Gentle. Morning, Logan. All right. Speaking of, what time is it? It is 10 to 9. Goodness. Okay. Again, every time you do something in batches, it's going to take a little longer than you want it to. Now, oh my Lord. There it is. I swear I have a little fairy in the house that just loves to move things. So I have convinced my husband that we need to print it a little nook so maybe it will stop moving things. Oh, I'm getting so mad at it lately. It's just like every time I turn around, something's missing. And then I come back in and it's right there. And I'm like, no, it was not there. I'm either crazy, haunted, or have a fairy. And I don't know how I got involved with this fairy. But I need to know how to. I'm so sorry. We have a lot of cats and the squirrels are out. And a cat just chased a squirrel way up the tree and it was very distracting. This is what happens when you have the window right next to you. So I folded that down again with the card helper. Again. Let's see. There we are. Put that nice and flat. What are you playing now? Oh, Streets of Philadelphia. Okay. We're going to pull the tape off. And put that there. If the pocket's a little crooked, that's okay. Mainly, you're just kind of wanting to make sure that your fabric isn't going askew. You want that to go as straight up and down as possible. And that all starts at the cutting table. And I guess I'll need to do a live where I actually just cut everything out. That way you can see the kind of prep work that I do just to get to the sewing table. And you'll get to see my soul leave my body because cutting is probably my least favorite thing of sewing. I like planning it out. I just don't like cutting all the stuff out. About halfway through, I become a toddler, and I'm like, "Are we done yet? What's going on? Why are we still doing this?" You know, it's not good. It's not good. Usually, it's because I need a nap or a snack or both. Okay. Pulling our threads to the back. Did I not? Yes, I did. Okay. If you have a thread that's not wanting to pull, like the top thread, kind of get your bobbin thread to loop. It's hard with the white. Let's see if I can show you. Like right here, This is the loop. This is the bobbin thread still. So if you take your bobbin thread and then that little loop, then you can pull up so that you get the top loop to start coming out. There you go. See, right there. The squirrels, oh my Lord. And they are fat this season. Like last year, they must have been like, okay, we are not going to deal with hunger this time. Hide every nut you can find. I mean, I'm starting to wonder because there haven't been a lot of birds either. Did they go carnivorous on me? And do I want to know? I don't know, man. Sometimes it's better just not to know what the wildlife is doing. I am not a nature girly. Nature's very pretty. It's out there. It's got to be out there. Elizabeth, don't camp. I don't camp. I don't even glamp, really. I want my AC. I want my climate control, and I want to be inside. Indoors. Okay, so this is the last pocket on this one. Yep, right there. You know, the real nice thing is where the seam is where the bottom of the pocket is. So it's definitely not going to be noticed. Okay, so now I'm going to take this last piece off. You know how to do this. You got to do this. You're doing fine. Okay, here we go. So what I do before I sew that down, actually you don't sew that down. So with the last pocket, you've got all your pockets top stitched. Stomach, I'm going to need you to leave me alone. I'm out of trail mix, Cynthia. I forgot to get more too. I really wish you could see this brazen squirrel. He's just sitting in the middle of the road. Like, I feel like he's challenging cars. What is wrong with nature? What is wrong with the squirrels in my neighborhood? They're a little scary. Oh, snap. He kind of looking at me. Okay, I don't know what to do with this. And I'm done. I'm not going to pay attention to the squirrels because I feel like if I do, they're going to start to think I know they're up to something. And I don't need squirrels on me. So here's my mark for the strap, the snap strap. I'm going to cut right below it, cut off the excess, which now I know I'll need because I cut them all at the same length. So my note was right. I just wish I would have found it sooner. At this point, we have two things we need to do. We need to insert our strap snap and we need to install our snaps. Where are you at? There you are. Oh, it is 9 o'clock. All right. I picked blue. I want to say I picked blue for this. Yes. Fine. Just all of you come out. That's perfectly fine. You do what you want to do. Come on. Okay. Working with these little snaps sometimes, it makes me think of the original fairy tales where, you know, the prince would have to, that's not a bad idea. Dry raisin bran. I do like raisins. You know, where the princess or the prince or the maiden or whatever has to separate the rice from the sand and stuff like that. That's what I always feel like with these. And I don't have little ants that I have saved from a flood that will help me do this. So I'm kind of on my own. So two things you want to make sure, or the first thing you want to do is make sure that with your snaps that you have, especially with these, the plastic ones, that you have actually two different ones. Ask me how I know. Oh, where's my piece of interfacing? Is that it? This will do. Okay. So for the one that I'm putting on the vinyl, because I don't have any other interfacing on it, I'm going to put a, find my scissors. I'm going to put a piece of interfacing behind it to strengthen it. And it swallowed me whole. All right, so I'm going to lift up my card slots so that I've got that exposed. Push those back. I don't punch a hole with these because the tighter the hole, the better. We're just going to leave that exactly where it laid. Put the backing on that. Come on, where'd you go? Ah. This is where it can be a little bit challenging to put these in. Put any kind of snap in because you're kind of fighting with your card slots. But yeah, it's that happens more than I want it to on this channel. So there you are. I'm going to take my washi tape carefully off, because that's the other good thing about washi tape is I can use it again. So on the next card slot section, I can use that. Boop. Or it could curl around itself and make itself completely useless again. Isn't she wonderful? You know what would help is the piece of interfacing that I am going to put behind the snap. It would help if I actually put it behind the snap. Best friend with benefits. So I don't know why, but I think the domed one looks prettier. So I usually put that on the outside. Oh my God. Where? Oh, there you are. I'm like, where did I put? And I just have this little snap thing. It's from Dritz. I believe I got it on Amazon. So I just curl up that and I go over. Fighting with the tape. As I said, doing it this way does make it a little bit challenging, but this challenge is less challenging than if you put it in and then have to try to do your card slots, because you don't have that flat area now. And then I push down nice and firm, and then I fight and get it out of there. All right, here are those. So I'm not as concerned with this, mainly because I can't put it in anyways. But you're going to find the side that you want showing, which I want the bit with the little bit of explosion. I'm going to put it in. You're going to place it where you would like it. The strap is, I usually cut these a little bit longer than instructions say, no matter what pattern. Mainly just to kind of give me a little bit of wiggle room. I usually do about 1/2 inch to 1 inch more. Ta-da! Okay, and then I have the other opposite piece. Make sure that's in there right. Squishy, squishy. And I will name him Squishy. I make sure that it's in there well. And then before I sew my strap on, I make sure that it's going to actually work. So I clip it on. Right now I hand cut everything because me and the Cricut are not friends. Very transparent honesty time. I may have pushed it off the table. It still works, but I was very angry with it. I actually tripped over the cat and pushed at it and it fell. So I didn't do it on purpose, but it seemed like it needed it, you know. It works a little bit better. I just haven't gotten it back out, and sometimes it's a bit of a pain. Let's see now. Okay. Good morning, Joy. I do want to get like a brother cut or a silhouette. Actually, I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Siser, Siser. One of my friends makes really pretty earrings. She does it with shrinky dink paper. And and she uses that, and she says it cuts better and it cuts faster. Happy hump day. After the conversation we were just having, I don't know if that's appropriate anymore. So I have been thinking about getting one of those, but it's just one of the things where I'm like, I could get a new cutting machine, or I could get more webbing. I could get a cutting machine, or I could pay my car payment. That's what it feels like sometimes. So I don't overcut my the slot for this. See, and some folks do. I don't have a maker. I have an Air. So maybe that's the problem, is that I'm trying to force that machine to do my bidding. Actually, I've been thinking about at least cutting out the pattern pieces with it, so that I have, yeah, that'll be fine. So that I have the most accurate piece. Because what I have to do to get my hole straight is I have to draw all these extra lines. Because if I don't, then I can see it and it bothers me. Oh my Lord, it bothers me. So I only cut a little bit of the slit. And then I measure. Get out of the way. I measure and I will trim it open. I still want this to be kind of a snug fit, but you don't want it bulking. Let's see, right now it looks like it's bulking a little. There we go. That's better. So trying to get that loose thread in. There we go. And I don't do it over tight. I give just a little bit of slack. That way when you put cards in it, it's not going to put too much strain on that. And then we just sew a little line. Right above it. Madre de Negros. You are just a sassy pants today. What's going on with you? Okay. So again, I'm going to pull my threads to the back. So you're like, Liz, look at this. What are you doing with all these threads? What's going on with all these threads? Well, these threads are going to help my sanity in making sure that when I sell this, my first thought isn't, oh God, it's going to fall apart. I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. You got me playing in the background. Nice. Purple mat with nice grip, and it works. The world, go back. There we go. So yes, I also did find that when I used blue tape to make sure it didn't move, that helped a lot. And I need to take a day where I clean all my mats, because my mats are not very pretty, some of them. But I do have a couple of strong mats, and I do think that it's a bit of a trial and error. I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm done with the error. Can I have a success story here? So I'm taking some 1/2 inch double-sided tape, And I'm going to cut 2 long pieces once I find, there you are. I got about 30 minutes before I will have to go and get a little snack and go get my nails all set. So I take the double-sided tape, push down, and I'm going to go right on the edge and just push that down. When you're doing the Pocket Pals or the Congoers, this also helps because then you can pull that tape off and stick it. But what this will also do is it'll flatten everything nicely. And I push down when I'm pushing on the tape. It's going to secure all of those threads. And then what I can do is just kind of go through and give it a little bit of a haircut. And I won't feel like those threads are going to be in my way, nor I feel much more confident that they're going to not come unraveled. Remember to do as well. Nope, that one's still attached. Okay, so see? And that's the card slots. So I have that double-sided tape on each side. Can't see it. And now, ta-da! I love these card helpers. They're so useful, especially when I can find them. So that's one side. So what I will go ahead and do is I need to find, here we are, those. Okay, so this is my vinyl tags that I have that I just designed and then got printed a roll of them, so I will never run out apparently. Come on, you. I'm just clipping the corners. Come on, you. Yeah, got it. Almost. This doesn't always work. Sometimes I have to trim it. But it gives me a nice little rounded corner. Again, I'm not sure why I don't like sharp corners when I'm making stuff. They're easier to sew most of the time because you just mark your pivot spots. But for some reason, I like a rounded corner. We're going to go for there. When you're singeing your edges of any vinyl, you want to go from the bottom and you want to kind of go at an angle and just run the lighter on. You don't want to actually let it sit in a spot. It will melt your vinyl. All right, I get a little piece of tape on the back of that. Where are you at? Okay, so that's going to go under this. So I have my piece here. Because I don't mark the front, kind of have to do it here. Because there are measurements that you use the zipper placement for. And what I usually do is, because I don't trust how I cut out the pattern piece really, I just mark my corners. That way I know where I'm cutting and go from there. Happy Wednesday. It's home day. It is still morning. I keep forgetting that. Okay, where is this tape? Okay. Sorry if I end up jostling, y'all. There we are. So I'm going to put the ID window on the opposite side. So I do cut my window a little bit bigger. Because I like to do a second, what's the word? A second line of stitching. There we go. I've been taking vitamin B12 and it's been getting a little bit better when it comes to the whole brain fog and words being like so hard I get paralyzed. Like about a month ago, we were in the grocery store and I literally couldn't move for a moment because I couldn't think of the word that I needed. And it wasn't just frustrating, it was terrifying for a hot second because I just couldn't get the word out. So I looked up yeah, I think that'll be good. That's what we're supposed to do. So I looked up, memory and vitamins, and it said that with brain fog, some medications give you brain fog, which apparently 3 of mine do have a side effect of brain fog. So yay me. And I found out that 3 things in your diet that help with this, if you don't want to take a vitamin, are dairy, poultry, and shellfish. We don't eat shellfish that often. We don't have chicken very often either. And I cut out all our milk. So I pretty much just let the brain fog in, apparently. So we're doing vitamin B now, and that has been helping a lot. Is that what I want to do? That is what I want to do. Sylvia, I am making the Bend and Snap by Lynn's Handmade Designs. It is a very cute carry-all crossbody. I absolutely adore it. It's so adorable. It has 2 zipper pockets. It has card slots, an ID window, and then an outside pocket, and it folds over. It's so adorable. Let's see. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by everything you need to do? All the time. So I discovered that what I will do is I will make Post-its with everything that I want to do, and I'll keep adding to the list. And I'll keep adding to the list. And then I'll go to add something and I'll see that the list is, 3 miles long. And my brain shuts down and I throw the whole list away. I just scrap the whole thing. And that's really not what you should do. So what I have learned that I should do, I'll get my stitch link back up, is I'm going to stitch around and then Pac-Man back. So I'm going to start at 1/8 and then I'll go 1/8 away from my initial stitching. So what I've been doing now is in my planner, I have a really cute notes section. And I just write things that I want to do. I have so many projects in my head that I really, really want to get done. But I mainly was like, maybe I should work on just prioritizing. So I have made what I call my dream con list. And it will be everything that I would like to have made for Dragon Con. It says dream list because I needed a written thing that's saying, okay, it's all right if you don't finish this list. It's just, a wish list of what you want to get done. There we go. I'm just kind of positioning my needle. There we go. So that I'm 1/8 away from my initial stitch. I just like a little bit of extra stability on something that's going to get pulled a lot. In the pattern, if you didn't want to do another line of stitching, you could put rivets in the corners. If you're not going to do that second line of stitching, put the rivets just to kind of give it an extra bit of stability, because it's going to get pulled in that a lot. So I have been working on not, what I was told is it's called panic throwaway. It's when you see your list and your list becomes so overwhelming in that moment that the only thing you can do is just get rid of it, is just to toss it. And I will say it is very validating to know that there's a term for it, because that means that I'm not the only one. But then I feel bad because that means somebody else is going through this as well. I have a very high empathy rating, and it's just, I don't want people to feel like this. This is awful. I wouldn't wish this on people I don't like, let alone people I do like. No. So mainly it's just when the list gets long, I just look at the list and go, okay, well, what do I want to do today then? I make it less about it needs to be done and more that I want to get it done. And that if I don't get everything done, it's okay. I can do it, but it's okay if I can't at the same time. It's this weird tightrope line that you have to start thinking about how you're going to walk and figure out when you need to be a little kind to yourself and when you need to be a little strong for yourself as well. Because you don't want to always be like, screw it, I'll do it tomorrow, because then ain't nothing gonna get done. And we all know that. Ooh, I did tape that before I meant to do that. That's okay. Oh, we'll put it up here instead. So I'm going to sew quickly my label on here. Most of the time I put it at the bottom, but I realized I taped before I did that. I'm going to put it right there. I like that. I'm not in love with these labels because when I designed them, I didn't put really an area to sew. So a lot of times I will accidentally sew through my name on certain spots. But, live, learn. Get cupcakes. I really do think that there's nothing better than somebody going, oh, I know exactly how you feel, and hearing in their voice that they really do know exactly how you feel. It's another reason why I absolutely adore music. I think music is a wonderful language that gives us a chance to communicate how we're feeling. And that's just kind of how I feel about all music, pop, rock, rap, country, anything, is that it's somebody trying to let you know that you're not the only one in the world that's feeling that way. Your breakup went like garbage. Guess what? You are not alone, and that should help. We are not meant to be completely alone. Even as introverted as I can get, I still like having my husband around. I just want him over there, but existing in the same house with me. I'm sorry. Even songs like what's playing right now is Bare Naked Ladies 1 Week. And it's interesting to hear this because it's about they get into an argument and they're both waiting for each other to say sorry, and one's going to finally realize they're wrong. We've gone through that with relationships. Come on, tape. I know sometimes I get introspective. If you're like, just, sew more. I did have somebody actually say that to me. They're like, you need to stop talking and just sew. And I'm like, you don't got to stay. You can go at any time. I am not forcing you to be here. I always appreciate everybody that shows up, but I also appreciate respect. Oh, that looks so cute. Okay, so we've got the card slots on this side with my little label. And then we've got a little ID pocket right there. And the ID pocket is big, but that's because struggling to get my card out of the ID pocket bothers me. It bothers me so much. All right, so the only thing to do on this now is to add the zippers. So I'm going to put that one aside because it's ready for zippers. I don't know if I am. Oh, when you're prepping for an event, how do you store your bags and how do you retain shape? Oh God. So stabilizers are always important when you're trying to retain shape for any type of storage. You also want to make sure I store mine in plastic containers. I try to use the see-through ones. So I keep mine in storage containers. And I try not to overload the storage containers. So I don't get giant ones and put everything in shoved in, because it's a bother when you like work really hard on a bag and then you open it up and you're like, oh, okay, so this is garbage now because it just got like shoved around. When I pack up from an event, I don't let my helpers pack because I'm very particular at how everything's going to sit. And I did have one helper who was just kind of like throwing stuff in there. And I had that paralyzed moment where I'm like, I'm going to shove them into the container. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't do that because that sounds mean. And I said, hi, let me pack those. You help my husband tear down everything else. It was the only way I could say, please stop doing that or my head will explode. So stability is a lot with your stabilizers as well. You can, it's going to sound so dumb. When I first started, when you first start, a lot of times you don't really have the money to do a lot of extra things like buy stuffing that you can put in the bags to help keep their shape. But your girl has a lot of stuffed animals. So for the first year of storing my bags in that, there were stuffed animals inside them to help keep their shape. And when I say I had a lot of stuffed animals. I had so many stuffed animals. Like for a good 20 years, my mom would give me a stuffed bunny for Easter. And this is not a complaint. No, I loved it. I loved every one of those stuffed bunnies. And every one of those stuffed bunnies ended up in a purse to help keep its shape. So that's what you kind of have to do when you first start, is you have to look at what can I do that will not spend money. Come on, you come out, doggone it. But will help in this endeavor. And for me, it was stuffed animals. Come on. I'm sorry, I'm fighting with this thread because it does not want to come through. You know what? All right, you're getting clipped. Everyone say Keep good vibes for that thread because it did not want to come through. All right. Right now I'm just repeating the process of these recessed card slots. And I always say the same thing. If I've missed a question, please feel free to ask it again. I do not mind at all. And like, try to be respectful about it. Don't be like, well, this is the 5th time I've tried to ask you. And I am very sorry that that's the 5th time you're trying to ask me. I am. I don't want you to have to ask 4 or 5 times. But I also, oh my Lord, really, thread? I also have some amazing folks on here who might actually answer the question before I even see it. Got you nice and straight? Yeah. Now, the nice thing is I already know that my lining is going to be short, but that's actually an advantage at this point because I'll just keep going till I get to that second to last pocket like I did before, and then add on the strip that I have over here that's extra. So it is 9:30. Let's see if I can get these done in get this all set up in 15. When I have my book in my ear, I sew faster, but that's because I'm not multitasking. I'm just listening to a book or a podcast. I'm trying to go through my podcast library because I went through a stage where all I was doing was like following podcasts. And now I'm like, I listen to like one episode. I'm like, wait, not for me. But I just don't like empty out my library. So my phone, I have had to set up to where it doesn't automatically download the podcast episodes because it drowns my phone down because I have probably a good 50 or 60 podcasts that I'm not even listening to. Great. I'm so glad you enjoy the talks, and I appreciate it. It is always nice that y'all come by and listen to me just ramble. And I swear I try not to ramble, but we all know what happens. Oh, my little card helper is so useful. I love this thing. Kind of like that. I'm trying to decide how to print these, because one way they have a bevel, but the other way they kind of have this interesting lip on the side, and it kind of acts like the bone folder does to fold down or to crease the lining. I had a speech teacher in high school who despised the word They didn't like the word fillers, like and well, which all I can do is well, and think of words. But so she always tried to say that it was better to pause than to say And my problem is sometimes I feel like I pause too long. And people are like, okay, are you finished? Not really. I just can't find the word that I want to use. I also have a bit of a foul language problem sometimes. So it used to be that when I was around my mom, I would change the words out. Like you'll hear me say crackers or, Jiminy Cricket or some nonsense like that. Because I'm trying to be kind and not curse up a storm. But at one point I just started putting censoring it out completely. So I would just have these blank spaces in my speech when I was talking to her. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm just trying not to curse, Mom." That's all. I'm telling you, sometimes I feel like a toddler. I just want a nap and a snack. And that's how I feel like cutting fabric and that out. I'm just like, oh, why am I not done yet? Yeah. All right, I'll add that on here in a moment. Once you do these recessed pockets a couple of times, you just kind of get into this rhythm. And if you can get yourself into doing doing every step the same way, then you'll just be done. You'll be like, wait, what? Okay, so I'm putting 2 of my linings together because, as I said, I knew I was going to be short. Under the foot, I guess. Come on. Tiberius does not like thin material, so he's going to be a little bit of a brat with this, but I didn't do too bad this time. Most of the industrial machines like this do not care for a uninterfaced material, like thin materials. Sometimes if you shorten your stitch length, that helps. I also kind of hold it tight, and that seems to help as well when I'm stitching real thin material like this. Okay, so that's added on. Okay, so back we go. Come on, you. Oh, no, they are not playing the Tootsie Roll. I did not need the whiplash from that flashback. That is too much. So much flashback. The worst thing about the songs of the 90s, I will say, is the fact that I know the songs. 90% of the time, I do not know who sang it. Like Saturday, I looked over, I was like, oh, I don't know this group. And then the song started playing. I was like, oh, wait, I do know this song. Like, of course I know this song. Of course I know the Tootsie Roll. Good Lord. And this station is great. And they put the year the song came out, which is really cool. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't need to remember that I was entering high school when this song came out. Thanks for that. Oh, my Lord. I'm glad I don't worry that I'm old. No one was more surprised when I turned 40 than that I was turning 40, that I was still alive at 40 than me. Because I will tell you, I did stupid stuff as a teenager. I did stupid stuff as a semi-adult. Ah, where are you going? All right. Hard slots. I almost threw that out. Oh. I think I'm going to go get a muffin from somewhere because I am craving a cranberry muffin. I'm definitely hungry. Oh. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. It's a Tootsie Roll. I do not need to be singing along with this. But it's one of those songs you kind of can't help but sing along with. So, yeah, I think what I'll do is we'll pick a pattern and I'll show y'all how I cut it out. Oh, no, I don't want to tear this. I want to reuse it. Come on. Now, I will say inexpensive washi tape is inexpensive for a reason. Just remember that. But if you're able to get a couple uses out of it, then it's not so bad. Need magnets too at some point. Okay, did I cut that? I did. Good. All right, so I have, yeah, that only took me like 10 minutes. Nice. I don't know which one this is. It doesn't really matter. So Moon Knight and Demon Slayer are the same vinyls. So I'm just like, wait, which one am I doing first? All right. Where are my tweezers? Here we go. 91. Yep. Some Lenny Kravitz going. Piece of stabilizer. That's not stabilizer. Excuse me, goodness. There we go. This will do. I always recommend, especially on attaching, that you put a piece of stabilizer on because it's just going to help with the wear and tear. I'm going to need to poke. Come on. Good Lord. Sometimes the Peltex is a wee bit strong. Come here, you. Oh, Lord. Okay, good. I was like, man, please don't tell me I lost one of the parts of these because I just went through and I'm at the last bits of my snaps, which means I'm going to need to order some. I usually drain my resources before convention as it is. And then usually about halfway through the convention, actually, I'm ordering more stuff because when things start to sell out, then I'm like, oh, better get some stuff. Now, where did I put the tool? There it is. Okay, can I go through here? Will that work? I'm going to try to go through the pocket and see if that will work. Sometimes it doesn't like that. This is going to be one of those cases. Let's see. Oh, no. I'm so sorry your connection isn't good. Nope, that did not work. Where are you at? So we have to go the other way. So I tried to go through the pocket, But the problem is that it's just too much material. Come on, you. Oh my goodness. What are you doing and where are y'all going? Y'all need to go over there. Okay, so we have to go in from the bottom for sure. Also, the Peltex is a little thick, and that might be the problem. So we shall see. I think the Cam Snap one has a longer throat, which is, by the way, this right here, where you have that sewing area, that's called the throat. It was one of the main reasons I wanted to get industrial machine. Not even just because it could sew through a lot of stuff, but because it just had a longer throat. There we go. All right. Squishy, squishy. And we're good. Let's go. Ah. There you are. I see you. Okay, so again, we pick the side that we want showing. Make sure it still looks good, or that we're still happy with it. Screen recording. Yeah, I'll post it on my YouTube. Mother of all that is evil. Let's do this. Here we go. Okay, making sure that we have different pieces. No, you are not putting Fuji's on. That is like my song. I love that song. All right. Making sure everything works properly. Oh, that snaps. Nice. Okay, so where'd my pen go? There it is. Where are you at? There you are. Mainly I'm marking so that when I clip the opening wider, I'm not going past, goodness, past the lines of the snap hook. I also kind of keep it snug. Let me make sure this actually goes this way, just a smidge. Not too much. There we go. Now you're sitting nice. And I always put a little bit of slack so that when you put a lot of cards in here, it's not going to put too much pressure on those stitches. Alrighty, now we're going to make sure that we get that stitched down nice. Get our stitch length back up again. More. Fun fact, if you backstitch on all your stitches, then it just looks like it's double stitched and you don't have a random backstitch. So I don't mind going back over on the zip tab. I don't do that too often though, because it can start to perforate your vinyl if you're using vinyl. Actually get the thread. Sweet. Right. So far so good. Okay, so that's done. Then I need to put my threads out. I wonder. sure. I'm actually going to try using my paper tape, because I don't genuinely need the double-sided tape. Like, I would definitely use the double-sided tape if I was doing a purse pal. Let's see. I am making the Bend and Snap by Lynn's Handmade Designs, which I'm also live streaming on YouTube, so that will save there if you missed any part of the sewing. Okay, that actually, so for this I need to make sure that I'm not getting into the zipper and where I'm going to be sewing, because I don't particularly like sewing over this. It's okay if I do, but I'd rather not sew over the paper tape. I hear a Charlie. Are we going to be graced with you? You've been outside all day. Hey, Charlie. I heard your little bell, you little brat. I know you're out there somewhere. Hey, Charlie Bear. I was wondering. He must be out. He must have been outside like all morning. There's my baby. Come on. There you are. Hey, Charlie. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. No, don't worry. Oh, such a big yawn. Such a big yawn. Such a little kitty cat. Hey, sweet boy. I do love a little kitty break. Nope. I'm sorry. Did you want to give me a kiss? Can I give you kisses? Thank you. Yeah? Okay, can you move your paws for us? You're doing so well. Come on. There we go. Move your little paws. It's almost time for me to... It is 10 to 10. So actually, I will have to stop here. Saturday, I will do a full sew on them. I might actually put these aside and work on other ones. That way I can finish them with y'all. Yeah, you done? Is that what you were trying to tell me? Is that I need to go? I need to get stuff done? Digitizer 10,000? Sounds like something for embroidery. But I hunger for a muffin. And I will see y'all later. Thank you so much for stopping by. And let's see, we'll start with you. I do. I'll take care of that later. Once again, thank you so much for everybody who stopped by. Real quick, let's see. What do you find is your best seller? Oh, Lord. Conventions are weird. Mainly, I just try to pick things that I know I would like and look for function. But at each event has always been different. The only thing I guarantee that I know will sell, like at Dragon Con, is anything with the Marriott carpet. But my wallets are always a good seller. I will say that. My wallets are definitely my bread and butter. They buy lunch and pay for the hotel. That is for sure. But it's a lot of give and take. Like last convention, I had a bag sell that was 4 years old because it had a certain X-Men character on it that they were in love with. I'm like, okay. So you just, it's hard. It's hard to even keep up with the trends, and the trends move so quickly that I just go with making sure that I have a lot of different fandoms and offering customs. I always offer a custom. So, but I will see y'all later. I will be here Saturday morning and with new nails. Maybe new hair too. I was thinking about doing something with my hair. But bye. You're welcome, hon. Bye. It's muffin time. Muffin